I had a conversation a few years back uh, with Charlie Munger, and he mentioned that he just casually mentioned that he always had someone to talk to about investments. So I said, "Oh, you mean like Mr. Buffett?" He said, "Well, it wasn't always Warren, but I've always had someone to talk to." And in fact, recently he said that. I think at the Daily Journal meeting, he said that even Einstein needed someone to talk to. And so I think that there is each human brain processes the same information differently. And to the extent that you can find someone who's thoughtful and is not processing data similar to you, it would be useful to have those conversations. But I think that is different from having a team. So if you have, let's say, analysts under you and they report to you, then the incentives and the dynamics of that exchange are very different from having a peer where there is no vested interest of any kind and two people having conversations about thoughts. So I never appreciated. I think for most of the history of Pabrai funds, I operated making decisions on my own. And I have a good friend, Guy Spear, and usually he and I will talk about things that either he's looking at or I'm looking at. And many times we don't agree. And many times I'll buy things that he won't buy, or he'll buy things that I don't buy, and so on. So if you look at our portfolios, they look very different from each other. But I have found it very useful to have those conversations because actually, Guy runs the fund on his own. Neither of us has any economic interest in the other fund. We don't gain or lose anything by what happens. And I'm confident that he's confident that we are candid in sharing our beliefs and perspectives, and that's useful. So I think that it is valuable to have that type of a relationship, and it doesn't need to be an off the chart person. I think just having someone else. One of the things that happened just this year actually in Omaha is I was at this brunch and Charlie Munger was there and he was sitting there and there was nobody next to him, so I decided to help the guy out and give him some company and just so he doesn't get bored. And I took Guy with me and I said, "Charlie, this is the person I talk to about my investments." And Charlie immediately got very interested in, he's kind of checking Guy out. And then Guy says to him that, I don't know why Mohnish cares to talk to me because I really have nothing to add to anything he usually comes up with. And so Charlie said that, well, the process of going through a process of talking to someone else about your ideas requires you to put them together in a certain kind of format and manner that can be articulated to the other person. And that process is useful in seeing some flaws in your own argument. And so then Guy said to Charlie that, Mohnish could actually just do that with a monkey. He could just articulate. So Charlie immediately said, "Yes, but the problem is Mohnish would know it's a monkey." And so it wouldn't work. So Charlie actually, I saw in that interaction that, and I've seen even when I've talked to him, is that he puts a huge amount of weight on that notion of having another person to bounce things off of. And so I actually don't, I don't move on anything now, and I haven't moved on anything until I have that at least one conversation, and from there we have many conversations. And like I said, we may not agree, but exactly what Charlie said, it forces me to kind of put my thoughts in a organized manner and hear some perspectives maybe different and such. So it's a huge advantage. But I think you have to set it up in a more manner where there is no vested interest, there's no axe to grind. It's a trusted open relationship, and then that works. Yeah.